I kind of want to, perfect. Want to get it kicked off tonight and get everybody an update on property. I'm sure everybody's been ready to hear something. And so I'm here to give you that information. We are really at a very exciting stage of where we're going. We it's multiple fold, right? So as many of you know, we really have been working over, gosh, now the last 2 years, starting with some of the focus groups we did, and then moved to a consultant with our studio outside. And we are now in the process of looking at architects. So we are very quickly moving forward. Um, what we are moving forward with is Fisherville, and we are going to be looking at building a multi-use facility at Fisherville. That's a phase one. We have a multiple phase uh, idea for Fisherville, which would include things like more cabins, the ability to add more beds so that more girls can utilize that facility. So we're really very excited about moving forward. And like I said, we're in the process of looking at architects. That's kind of the next phase. We have some drawings, but an architect has to do, we have to work with an architect to do the actual drawing so we can look at specific things in the buildings along those lines. So that'll be next phase. And hopefully, once we get into that next phase, we'll be able to share the drawings and things like that with y'all. In addition to that, we are going to be looking at some necessary, some really enhancements for Tikawitha. And Myra can talk a little bit more about that, but there are some things that need to be done at Tikawitha, which we were going to be budgeting to do, and some enhancements we'll be making at that camp as well. That leads me to number three, which is Kewaunee. Kewaunee will remain closed for the foreseeable future. I know that the last time I talked to y'all, I had some hopes, and we were talking to some solar farms. That is not an avenue that we will be able to pursue. And the reason is that a solar farm needs flat land. And all of you know, most of you know by now, Kewaunee is not flat land. And the cost of a solar farm company coming in to make that flat is cost prohibitive. So we've talked to two different solar farms, and we got the same answer from both of them. So that is not going to be an option. We are proceeding to talk to, we have been out to Lone Oaks and talked to Lone Oaks, which many of you know, and Myra's going to talk about that in a little bit. And they are a product of University of Tennessee. So we are going to be reaching out to University of Tennessee, maybe even some other universities, to look at some way of making Kewaunee more of a revenue stream. Then that will help us to continue have Kewaunee open it for the girls and things along those lines. As it is now, it's cost prohibitive for us to open it for the usage that Kewaunee has been getting over the last 10 years. So the decision has been made that it will remain closed until, like I said, the foreseeable future, and until we can find some type of partner that can help us with that property. We will not be reopening it. So that's I know not the best news, not the news that some of you wanted to hear, but we are very excited about the plans that we have for Fisherville. I know the concern is that it's smaller, but we're going to utilize that property better than we've ever used it before. And this multi-use facility will show you and be our first major step in bringing that camp up to the standards that the Girl Scouts needs and we want to see. This will include a capital campaign. We have some seed money to get started, but we're going to be doing some major fundraising along with that. So you'll also see in 2025 that we'll be starting a capital campaign. So there is a lot going on behind the scenes with the board and with the property committee and with our consultants. And like I said, we're very excited. I'm very excited. I hope each one of y'all are. We're this council is. I think we're going to make Fisherville and Tickwitha properties that we can be proud of, properties that all of our girls can use, and we'll be moving forward. So, Venus, anything you want to add to that? I was quick, but to the point.
Yeah, I think you did a very good job of just summarizing where we are in the process right now. And understandably, there's going to be some disappointment, but I think we have towed this thing on long enough. We have reviewed and discussed and visited and brought people in to look at it and got, professional expertise and gathered all sorts of information, and they've gone off and did their studies. And ultimately, the board and the council felt like this was the best decision for us to make at this point in time. And if there is an opportunity for us to partner, to have some sort of revenue stream to help us with Kewanee somehow, we're not closing the door on that. But right now, we have to do what we can with what we have that's going to meet our needs in the best way possible.
Yeah. And I just saw Becky asked a question, which is a very good question. And I can't answer that with 100% surety. She's asking how much downtime will Fisherville have with the upgrades. The facility, the multi-use facility, will be a brand new building. So what I hope will happen is that there'll obviously be some construction going on, but there may be ability to use some parts of the camp in addition, even while the construction's going on, like the cookie pavilion and those back cabins. But we'll have to address that as we move forward, whether or not it'll be available.
And my biggest concern is that the big events that we're doing out there will not be able to happen for a year.
And I think, Becky, that's why we shared on the chats with the chief. That's why we're also looking into other camp properties that are nearby or within our council jurisdiction, so we can form some collaborations with those properties so you guys can go there. And I think part of what the architects and the engineers are going to help us to be able to do is to get a better sense of the timeline and downtime and things like that. And as we get that information, then we'll be able to communicate that better. But we are at the very beginning stages. So we can't give really an estimate. And I will also add, Lori mentioned the capital campaign. And with our fundraising, things will be phased in. So we're putting together a long range plan for Fisherville and our properties. And that's just kind of where we are.
The timeline, though, of the things that are already on the schedule will not be affected, Becky, if the ones that are in play at the moment.
Well, I didn't figure it would be this year, that there would be conflicts, but I'm concerned about the next year and the next year if it drags on.
I think we'll have to, this is a new frontier for us as well. And we're gonna have to make adjustments as we go along, as we have more conversations and really, start to make things permanent, make permanent decisions about things, then we'll have a better sense of where we will be. And we'll definitely communicate that, information out as soon as we have it and can get it out. You guys will know about it. Any other thoughts before we move on? So Emily says, what's happening at Tickwitha? So, and Lori and Myra, you guys can chime in too as well. So when we had that discovery workshop and we were talking about just looking at our facilities overall and looking at capacity and looking at our capacity for growth, and just some things that we just wanted to change and improve. One of the things that was definitely stood out at Tickwitha is the eating area. Like it's not positioned well, and it's not large enough for the growth that we want to see for campers that we want to engage. So that'll be one of the things that we're looking at, is having a larger eating space that's brighter, that's welcoming, with some upgraded equipment and things like that, so we can just better utilize the space and have a larger multi-purpose space, so to speak, where they can eat and we can also do programming, but also have the capacity to serve more girls in that space. Irene says, is there a way to partner with state parks for slow season use by camps? I would say yes. Myra might have a little bit more to say about that, but that is one of the things that we are also considering. Like, we're not closing the door on anything, because we definitely understand, like, we want to be able to provide a robust outdoor program for troops. And so we want to make good on partnerships that we currently have and also start to work on some of those newer collaborations. Anything to add to that, Myra?
No.
Okay. Christina, will the multi-use facility allow for regular troop campers to use common kitchen items that stay in the kitchen like at the lodge now?
So I think if I understand the question, Christina, the lodge will still be in play, even with the multi-use facility. So if you have a smaller troop staying, then you would reserve the lodge, not the multi-purpose building. I think the intent it will be for that to have an industrial type kitchen and not like the lodge type kitchen. So it would depend on your group. Of course, with the industrial type kitchen, just like at Kewanee and Tickwitha, you would have to have ServSafe to be able to use those types of that industrial type kitchen. But that, we're still in the thoughts and the planning stages and all of that. So as we get closer to time, we'd have a better answer. But I think at least at this stage, the early thought process is that the lodge would still be what would be appropriate for that kitchen style cooking for a smaller troop.
Thank you.
Okay. If there aren't any other questions about this, we're gonna move on with our other updates, but we'll leave a little bit of time at the end if we can for additional questions that might come up as we kind of go through each presentation. Oh, I see one more thing before I move on. Will wheelchair accessibility at the lodge be addressed as well? So yes, like one of those things, again, that just kind of stood at the forefront is that our facilities needed to be more accessible to girls with all types of abilities. And so that was one thing we wanted to make sure with anything new that we put up that, you know, it is appropriately built to facilitate that. And then in the process, if there are any other things that need to be done on our current spaces that we have, that those things are made to fit to where every girl has proper accessibility. So the next thing that I want to cover and is just to talk a little bit about the membership dues increase. So you all have, I think pretty much everybody on this call knows that we've had a membership dues increase voted on by our council delegates across the nation, where our girl membership dues for this upcoming membership year is going up to $45, and then the following year it'll go up to $65. Adult membership dues will be increased to $30, and it'll stay at $30. And then there won't be any changes to lifetime membership that we've heard of from GSUSA, but on October the 19th, it was voted on. And now everything has been updated in our Blue Book. And so that's how we're going to be moving forward. What I wanted to talk about was to reassure you that our council is here to support girls and families who are going to need the financial assistance to become members of GSUSA. And I want to say that it's always been very important to us that financials or a girl's family finances is not a barrier to her participation, and we're going to continue with that mode. We've always been really good stewards in planning for girls and families requesting the membership dues assistance. I'm not going to tell you that we have like tons of money, but what we're going to continue to do is what we're currently doing now, which is making the opportunity available. And so what we've been talking about doing is making sure, one, that our troops and families know that financial assistance is available. So being better about communicating that information out, because we're kind of finding that some groups know and some people don't, or some troops know and some troops don't. So we want to be really consistent and clear about that. The other thing is currently in our processes, and not everybody knows this, but what we do is when a request comes in, we do ask the service unit and the troops to support their membership dues request. And then if they cannot, the council takes care of that. We are going to continue that process, but at the $25 level. So if a request comes in, and I'm just giving you a broad overview, if a request comes in, we will do what we've done, which is to ask the service unit and or the troop to support it at the $25 level, and then the council will supplement the difference. And that's whether it's for the girl and for adults who are signing up to be member volunteers or leaders. So in addition to that, we are also going to be communicating all of that information out with very specific steps, so everybody is clear about how they apply, you know, what they're supposed to do, how service units are supposed to communicate that to troops, and how troops can communicate that information to their families. Because in talking with you guys, which is the feedback has been wonderful and important for us to have, there are some gaps in communication. Not everybody understands how they can go about applying for financial assistance for their membership dues. So we also want to make that very clear, and you will be receiving that information, will be coming out prior to our early bird season, because we understand that you guys are trying to prepare and get ready for that. And so at the very least, while we have different groups and are having these different conversations, I wanted you all to know that we're preparing and we're ready, and we're not gonna let the dues increase be a barrier to a girl wanting to a girl becoming a Girl Scout. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. If you have any additional questions about it, please feel free to ask, but we're budgeting, we're planning, we're utilizing our resources to make sure that we can cover girls and families who need it. We did have a chats with the chief talk a few nights ago, and the ladies that were on that call gave some really good ideas about ways that we can kind of survey our service units to see where we have need, or where we might have the greatest need to help us to plan better. So we're going to look at doing some of that, but we will be able to support our girls and our, troops with the membership dues increase. I also wanted to note that when we get, and I'm saying we, GSUSA, that second year when the dues increase goes up to $65, what GSUSA is implementing is a 25% discount back to councils. So we will pay the whole membership dues price up front on behalf of girls and families, and then they will give us 25% of that back, which we will then reinvest back into our membership dues. So that opportunity will be available, but it won't be available until the second year when we hit that $65. And then also what GSUSA is doing is putting together a scholarship fund for councils. Councils will have to apply, and there is no guarantee that we will have access to the additional funds, but they are planning to put together a multi-million-dollar scholarship fund for councils to request assistance with their membership dues, because we're a small Girl Scout council, but some councils are smaller than we are, and so it is definitely going to take its toll. But they are putting forth that opportunity for councils to apply, and we will be applying as well. That's not guaranteed, but the 25% discount is. Questions? All right, well, Myra, I'm gonna hand the floor over to you. Thanks, everybody.
So I'm having a little bit of technical difficulty. So I'm actually on my phone and on my laptop. So I'm not going to be able to share my slides with you, but I can still talk through them. We're going to kind of walk through different departments. So I wanted to start with membership department and just kind of give you guys an idea of where we stand on our membership year to date for this membership year. Our goal starting this year was 7,637 members. That's adult and girl members. We started back in early April and worked systematically towards putting things in place like retraining our membership managers, making sure we were fully staffed on our membership managers, putting together monthly KPIs or key performance indicators where we wanted to be as on our goals by a certain date. We put together quick reference guides for our membership managers so they could better serve our service units and our membership and our recruits. All of that to say, since that time frame in April, when we started Early Bird, we've had over 100 recruitment events. And proud to say that we are sitting at 93.5% of our goal, or we have just a little bit to go. We have 527 more girls to achieve our goal for this year. This is the first time that we have been this close to our goal at this point in time in the year in the last several years. It's been several years since we've been this close. So we are currently leading #1 in the nation of all Girl Scout councils on our progress to goal. So very proud to be able to share that with you guys. Not only are we close to our membership goal, but we also have increased our retention rate by 8%. So 8% is extraordinary for us to jump in 1 year over for a retention goal. Every girl that we retain is another girl that we don't go out and we to recruit to hit that goal. Of course, we want all girls, but we want to keep the ones that we have. Part of those numbers comes from a few different things I wanted to share with you. And one of them is what was originally called the Daisy Drop Box, or Girl Experience Box for Daisies. It's a program that GSUSA has completely funded through grants to provide program meeting boxes for new Daisy troops every month. So they get the whole package, all the materials printed, the supplies for their troop meetings for that month. We committed as a council to have 40 of those troops participate in that program. That was our goal. To date, we have 57 troops that are actually participating in the Daisy Drop Box, and the feedback has just been tremendous. For next year, they're expanding that program for the Daisy Drop Box to also include brownies. So we'll have brownie drop boxes next year, as well as the Daisy program. So we're already starting that process of getting our staff trained, providing the recruitment materials for next year to be able to provide that program. Now, this will be for new brownie troops, and just like it was for the Daisy troops this year. But we're already looking forward to that and moving on towards that complete goal that we have in our membership for this year. But just wanted to share those numbers. Everybody has worked so hard, whether it's through service unit recruitments, community recruitments, our community troop or outreach teams also have expanded their reach by going into more schools. We currently have over 1,300 girls that are participating through our outreach programs. And those are the programs where we take Girl Scouts to the girls that can't get to Girl Scout troop meetings. So we're taking it through their communities, community centers, or their school day, and having Girl Scouts provided through them by staff and some volunteers in the spaces where the girls are. So meeting them where they are. So that's been just a wonderful outreach for us to be able to add those and give those Girl Scout opportunities to those girls. So that's membership update. Does anybody have any questions on that before I jump into the next department? Nope. All right, let's move on to program. So giving you a little update on program, we currently have had 21 programs since August. We run our program year along with the school year. So since August, we've had 21 programs. We've had a total of 1,855 girls that have participated in those programs since August. So very excited about the opportunities that we are providing for them. A lot of them are through community partners and new programs that we have provided for them. So I just wanted to give you a few highlights in each one of the 4 pillars for the programming that we are offering. So starting with life skills, just some of the new events that we've had and are continuing to have into the spring. We did a wonderful event with Vitalent, which also highlighted our CEO patch, but giving back to the community that way and teaching the girls those life skills. We've offered new babysitting classes this year, both in the fall and the spring program calendar. We have babysitting classes for our older girls. We offered Democracy for Her events this year as we went through our national election. We wanted to teach the girls about their civic responsibility and the process and those types of things. And so we held those democracy events. We also have incorporated mental health training, both for our older girls and our troop leaders, wanting to make sure that we're just being able to offer those skill sets, both to our leaders and to our older girls as they struggle with the things that they have to face today. So just a few highlights of some new things that we're adding, along with all of the other life skill events. They're your tried and true favorites that you love, but I wanted to highlight some new ones there for you. Outdoor program, on that pillar, we have seen the return of our backpacking program. So we have trained, we had 8 ladies that went and participated in our outdoor advanced backpacking program. Those were leaders that got trained, so they will be able to take their troop backpacking. And then we also have a program this spring where we're going to take girls on a backpacking trip as well. So we're bringing that back. We have reinstituted the checkout process for our backpacking equipment, where troops can actually rent that equipment from the council. We also incorporated compass, orienteering, knots, and lashing events. Those were new this year that we have put out there for outdoor. We have had them in the past, so it's not brand new. I know we've had them, but they're kind of coming back around. And then very excited to announce a brand new event that we have with a new partnership, Ducks Unlimited, that's coming up in the April of the spring. It's going to be a wonderful event that we're having that is going to be focused on everything Ducks Unlimited, where they're doing duck calls. They're going to be talking about dogs and diving into the dogs retrieving in the lake. They're going to be talking about fly fishing, all kinds of things. There's a laundry list of things that the girls will be doing at that event. So I want to let you know about that new event that we've got coming up. It's under our entrepreneurship pillar. We'll see the return of our Cookie Palooza event in person. So we've had the cookie rallies that have been virtual since COVID, but we are bringing those back in person. We have them in 4 different locations that are scheduled to date. As of today, we have over 400 girls in those four locations that have already registered for their events. And so we're taking it. There will be one in Jackson, one in Memphis, one in Tupelo, and one in Grenada in the Delta. So we're going to have those 4 events. Another one under our entrepreneurship pillar is the Move and Groove with DHL. That's a partnership with a grant initiative that we had through DHL. So it talks about all things logistics on getting your products to your customers and those types of things. So that fell under our entrepreneurship pillar. We're also under that grant opportunity have a new Moving and Grooving station that's going into our possibility places. So that will be a permanent installation that goes in our possibility places. The kids you get to use a scanner to scan barcodes, to pack their boxes, to weigh their boxes, to fill out a shipping label, and they'll learn how to get products to their customers through that center. So very excited about that. And then finally, under STEM, we have received a grant opportunity through International Paper to expand some of our STEM programming through purchasing additional equipment. So we can have additional STEM mobility. There are mobile STEM lab, not only in the Tupelo area where we have that, but also in our Memphis area. So we're very excited about that as well. I put Zoom Pop Wow on here as well. This is not a new program, but I wanted to let you know this is a program that Mississippi State Department actually provides for us each year. This program was actually nominated and won a national award through Mississippi State this past year. And so there's just a wonderful event. They provide everything but the patch. So the patch is the only thing that the girls pay for to be able to attend this event. And it's just a wonderful thing that Mississippi State puts on with us.
Absolutely.
We also have Cosmic Camp Out. It's actually happening this weekend. Very excited about this program. It's a new partnership we have with the Astronomical Society in Memphis, and they're coming out and they're teaching the girls everything about the stars this weekend. So it's going to be a very fun time. It's happening there at Fisherville, filled to capacity. So very excited about that new partnership. So that's just a few highlights of some of the new programming that we've got going on in the different pillars. Some other things to kind of look forward to under program. Wanted to let everyone know that we've actually hired a new staff member in our Jackson office. Her name is Juliana Paz, and she started last week actually. So she'll be bringing programming and providing support for our community troops in our outreach out of the Jackson office. She's very excited, already given us great ideas on new programming that we can bring to the Jackson office. Some other things to look forward in programming is we actually have 10 brand new programs scheduled for the springtime. That is along with some new partners and new program ideas that we're bringing along with just a myriad of all of your favorites that are returning for the spring. Wanted to let you know to look forward to the Let's Explore Branson trip that we have coming up in June. We did make the decision to shorten those trips. We heard from our constituents that they wanted smaller trips that did not cost as much money for the trips themselves. So we're trying to pare those down a little bit and offer some great opportunities to travel, but also be mindful of the cost so we can offer that to as many girls as possible. We currently have 4 girls that also have taken advantage of our destinations grant opportunity through the national destinations through GSUSA. So there's those girls. That's more than we've had in several years. So we're very excited for those girls that are going to get to travel through that grant process. I think Allison's going to talk a little more about it, but touching on the program partnership website launch. So there will be where you will find some of the camp partnerships that we are working towards that will provide camping opportunities for troops and service units. So there's on our website, and I'll let Allison kind of talk a little bit more about that, but I wanted to highlight that would be where we will list Lone Oaks, any partnerships that we've set up with any other camps or state parks. I saw that in the comments as well. We'll list them there for you, and any contact information or the link to their website and information on how to reserve those spaces. Again, we talked about the return of the backpacking events and the training. And then very soon, also, Allison, I may be stealing some of your thunder. We have the camp brochure that's coming out very quickly. So that's coming out right after the first of the year.
Hey, Myra,
Uh-huh.
we had a question from Jessica, and then we probably need to wrap up in a couple of minutes because we still got to get to Brittany and
Okay.
the rest of the team.
That's good. My voice is about to give anyway.
Yeah, I noticed that too. It says we're training them to be good logistics workers, but what is the badge and learning/development tie-in for DHL / FedEx, etc.? Go ahead.
If I understand the question that you're asking, Jessica, they're working on a national badge with GSUSA, and this is a pilot program that will roll over into some national badges that are where we are working towards with that partnership with DHL.
And what I would also add to that too is that their actual activities that they're doing is helping the girls to learn team building. So in addition to learning like logistics and things like that, their individual activities that they do that day, they're all presented by the DHL staff. We're not presenting that. DHL staff, they're doing it, and they do a phenomenal job. And it's all of their women leadership and executive staff team. So they're talking to the girls about careers and what else that can be done other than, the packing and things like that in those DHL events. There are also the activities where they're doing logistics overall, they're put together to where the girls are having to learn how to communicate with each other, how to work into a team, work, in a team and things like that. So their individual activities that they're doing are incorporated with that leadership development, the piece that you're talking about. Do you have anything else, Myra?
I don't.
Okay. Another question. Says a few questions. Would it be possible to be able to access Kewanee for troops to learn primitive camping? This would be preferable to camping at state parks and kids being subject to pot smokers. Could we consider later times for things like Cookie Palooza? For moms, that work is not feasible, and congrats on increasing girl numbers. So how do you want to take a stab at that?
I'll take a stab at the Cookie Palooza. The Cookie Palooza event is a come and go, and when they had that time frame was expanded to be able to allow. We understand that the time frames. We were trying to be mindful both of not keeping kids out too late on a school night for the ones that were on Thursday night, but being able to also participate in the program. So we heard you, we went back and reevaluated that time frame and made some adjustments there. So, but thank you for the feedback.
Mm-hmm. And I will also add to that too, is like, we don't really have our own spaces to do any sort of programming. So we always have to reserve or rent space for the different programs that we do. So a lot of the times, things that we want to do, we may not be able to get the most ideal time or the most ideal date because we're working on somebody else's availability. So I think those are all, I just wanted to mention that so you are aware. All I know is I wanted us to bring back doing our Cookie Paloozas, our cookie rallies in person, and we had to get started somewhere. So this is what it looks like this year. But moving forward and with your feedback, we can continue to make improvements as far as locations and times and dates and things like that. But I just know when we have to do things, we just got to get started. We got to get it out there. And so that's what I requested of my team. And then that's what they went out there and did.
Susan asked about emailing out the links from the campsite information. Those links will be listed in our program possibilities with that direct link. So that will be, I feel like, the best option for us. It will be a continuous link there on that program possibilities because there are so many a one-off email might not get it out to everybody. But we'll definitely post those links through the different communications that Allison has already going out to everybody.
Okay. Britton, it's 7:47, so I want you to be mindful of your time.
All right. Okay, so I have a lot of information to cover, so I will try and run through this information as quickly as I can. So a quick, tiny little bitty fall product update. So our fall product numbers, they are down a little bit, but they are not final right this moment. But rewards for fall product have been processed, they've been ordered, and we're trying to get everything wrapped up. So we'll just push kind of fall products to the side for right now. So let's get into cookies. Okay, so this year's cookie program, we kicked off today with our digital cookie sales, and our lineup does remain the same, consisting of 9 varieties. We have our Adventurables, Lemon Ups, Treefles, Do-si-dos, Samoas, Tagalongs, Thin Mints, Toffee-tastics, and Girl Scout S'mores. So it has been confirmed that this year is the last year for s'mores. I know we've said that for the past couple of years, but after 9 years of deliciousness, the Girl Scout s'mores will be retiring. So this gives girls the opportunity to build that excitement around and engage their customers and encourage them to stock up their freezers before those Girl Scout s'mores are gone. So we have introduced a price increase for our core cookies. So all varieties are now $6 across the board. With that, the proceed structures have been updated. We also have some great promotions that will be continuing this year, like the Cookie Booth pop-ups, cookies for a year, find a golden ticket. We also have a new promotion that we will be introducing called Two to Troops, and that will help encourage that $2 roundup when a customer purchases three boxes for $18. But we will have more to come on all those promotions. There are some great and wonderful new additions and updates with eBuddy and Digital Cookie this year. Last year was the first year that all councils from both bakers were in Digital Cookie. So at times, Digital Cookie could get a little bogged down. And so there could be orders in the Digital Cookie system that had not migrated over to eBuddy in a timely manner. So this year, eBuddy has made some improvements. And so instead of waiting for that data to migrate over from Digital Cookie into eBuddy, eBuddy has now just updated to where they will actually go grab that data from Digital Cookie. So hopefully we'll see eBuddy staying more up to date with that order information. Also in eBuddy, when volunteers are selecting booth locations in the booth scheduler, they select the city, they select the store, then the date, then the time slot, and they reserve their time slot. Well, in the past, once you selected that time slot and it was reserved, the system would automatically take you all the way back to where you had to select that city, and you had to go through that entire process again. Well, now they've updated the system to where after you reserve that time slot, the system's going to ask you if you want to stay within that same city. And if you say yes, it will not take you all the way back to the beginning. So I think it'll take you back to the store. So it essentially cuts out a whole bunch of steps in that process if you're electing to select another booth. Some other great updates that I know that everybody will be so very, very excited about is with the taking payments through Digital Cookie in the Digital Cookie app. So when taking a credit card payments, now it takes less information for those transactions. So it is not necessary to enter an email address. So I can hear claps all around on that. Now you scan the card, and I believe you do still have to enter the CVV number and maybe the expiration date. I'm not 100% on that. But I believe that's all that's actually required. Another update that I'm excited about is that PayPal and Venmo have now been added as payment options in the Digital Cookie app. So last year, this was added in Digital Cookie on the browser version only. But now, when you're using the Digital Cookie app, you can select PayPal or Venmo as a payment option, and it will pop up a QR code. So you just have to turn your phone around, and the customer can scan that QR code to make the payment. So all great payment options and great easy ways to make payments through the Digital Cookie app now. So with all that being said, I wanted to address some of the questions and comments that were submitted in for today's conversation. So there was a comment that was submitted regarding rewards and also about adding travel. So we do offer the reward options for girls to vote on at various events. But I also wanted to explain that GSUSA does set councils to specific guidelines of what we can and cannot do, or what we can and cannot offer. They even have a recommendation dollar amount cap per girl that includes both fall product and cookies, fall product and cookie rewards included in that cap. But as far as travel goes, we have offered some more local travel options in the past. However, the last trip that we offered, which was several years ago, we had to have 5 girls minimum, and we only had 2 girls to choose that option. Now, there are some councils that do offer very extravagant travel options, and I'm not opposed to doing research to see how they actually do this and stay in budget. We do have some council contacts, but I'm not opposed to doing research on that, but I cannot make any promises at this time on that. So I wanted to also talk about the ACH payment changes that we have made to the program. So I am hoping that everybody has heard and received the communications that were sent out to service units last week. It went out, I think, this time last week. So I wanted, just in case, I wanted to make sure everybody is aware of the corrected information. So for the ACH half payment draft that is on February the 19th, only digital cookie payments made between December 11th, today, and January 15th will be applied towards the half payment balance due to council. So essentially, digital cookie payments will not be counted towards the half payment balance after the digital cookie payments that are made after the council submits our order to the bakery. So only December 11th through January 15th, any digital cookie payments made during that time. So I wanted to explain the reasoning behind this change. So our outstanding balances for cookies has drastically increased, especially this past season. So $60,000 to $75,000 can provide a lot of programming, financial aid, and other necessities throughout our council. So when our outstanding balances jumped this past year to these kinds of numbers, we knew that we had to take steps to address this type of issue. So we're working with troops to pay their debts down, but we also knew that collecting balances more regularly and sooner would definitely help to lower those balances going forward. So we are going to keep this process under review each year to see what's working and what is not. So we are going to keep reviewing these processes. So as far as timelines, so there's always a lot of comments regarding how early the cookie program starts and how it runs right on the heels of our fall product program. But at the same time, we also see comments or suggestions to increase the initial order phase of cookies to give girls more time to take orders. So when it comes to our fall product program, we generally start, around the September 9th, 10th, something around in there. And that's actually early when you think about when the girls start back to school and when troops get started for the school year or when the Girl Scout year. There isn't much room to move that date. So fall product orders are submitted mid-October for an early November delivery date due to specific timelines that we have to follow with Ashton Farms. After delivery, essentially girls are delivering product and collecting payments. The online portion is just open for those girls that want to reach their goals. Then we run into cookies. So during the pandemic, along with many other councils, we opened the digital cookie portion of the cookie program for strictly online sales. So our sales prior to January 1, which is all online sales, those make up roughly 12% of our digital cookie sales, which is a large portion to just simply eliminate to move our start date to later. However, in 2023, when they were delayed, when they delayed the digital cookie ship dates, we heard from a lot of leaders and a lot of parents that this issue hurt girls' digital cookie sales, which counteracts a lot of those comments that we move our sale to a later date. So the comments are counteracting each other. Several years ago, we also shifted our in-person start date along with delivery times and booth dates to slightly earlier. The reason we did this was to move the times when cookies were in the girls' hands to be closer in line with the councils around us. Our council shares borders with 5 other councils. With the previous schedule, we were weeks behind these other councils, which hindered a lot of troop and girl sales. We also have a specific timeline to follow with Little Brownie Bakers, just like we do with Ashton Farms. So to begin our booth sales earlier, to be more in line with other councils, that means an earlier delivery date, which leads to an earlier troop submit date. But to give girls adequate in-person sales time, we needed to have an earlier start date. Now, we do agree with you that it goes straight from one sale into another, and we will be looking at the calendar and can hopefully tweak it slightly next year. But when you look at the bigger picture, there is truly a method to the madness of our timeline, and a lot of thought goes into the process of the schedule, what goes into the schedule. So please keep that in mind. But we will be looking at it next year, and hopefully we'll be able to tweak some of our dates. So I ran through that really quickly, so I can open it up to questions, but if I know we are running really close on time, so I can either run it over to Lori.
We're going to pass it over to Lori, and then we'll
All right.
save questions toward the end. But I did want to just add a couple more comments to what you talked about, Britton. I just want folks to realize when Britton was talking about there is a method to the madness, like we give you deadlines based upon when we have deadlines. Like we have to abide by deadlines that are set forth by Ashton Farms, M2, like all the people that we work with, LBB, in order to have these program opportunities available. And then on top of that, we have to account for the people that are going to be late, the people that aren't going to make the deadlines. Like we have to give ourselves enough time to do what we need to do and give you enough time, because we know 75% of the people are going to miss the deadline. So then we have to prepare for that. So it puts us in a situation to where we are crunched for time. And just like you guys are saying, man, this thing is back to back to back, we're saying the same thing. And we try our best to avoid that at all costs. But then, sometimes it worked out like it did this year. But it is something that we review on an annual basis. And it is not taken lightly that we definitely see you and we feel you and agree with you that it's back to back. But when the deadlines are set of when we have to have things done, then we have to request it from you earlier. Then we have to build in for folks being late and not turning things in and trying to collect debt. Like all of those things come into play. It is just not something that we plan in a bubble. So I did want to add that. Thank you. Lori?
I just wanted to take a minute to reintroduce myself to some of you. I am Lori Gilmore. I started in early September as the Chief Development Officer. This is my return back to Girl Scouts Heart of the South after had been with you all for 20 years and left for a few years. I'm very excited to be back with responsibilities of making sure that we're getting additional resources in besides the cookie sales to make us less dependent on the cookie sales and diversify our income and all of that. Making sure that our donors are happy, working in partnership with the program team to build those corporate partners for all those program events. But I'm here to support any of your service unit and troop needs for your other fundraising efforts as well. We do have an event coming up in Tupelo in February on the 13th, our Desserts First, which is a fundraising event that we've been doing there. I think this will be the 8th year, where we have local chefs make desserts out of the cookies. And then people buy tickets and vote on their favorite dessert. So we will be doing that, and you will be seeing some additional fundraising events around our council to build those revenue sources. I look forward to working with all of you, and reach out if you need any assistance.
Thank you, Lori. Melanie, I think it's your turn.
Yes, it is. I'm going to be just as quick as Lori. My name is Melanie James. I joined Girl Scouts in August. I am the Director of Finance and Accounting. When Miss Carol retired, she passed me the baton, so I'm gonna try to make sure I'm keeping it up as she did. Right now, being a nonprofit, we have to go through audit. So right now, I'm currently going through an audit, but I expect, of course, the results to be positive. And if anybody needs anything from me, I'm available. Thank you.
Thank you, Melanie. Allison?
Okay, I know we're crunched for time. Do you want me to share my screen with any of this or just go through it real fast?
You can share your screen if you want. If
Okay.
you guys want to hang on till we're done, we maybe need like 5 additional minutes.
Okay, well, I'm going to be really brief, but in keeping with using our wonderful resources wisely that Lori and Melanie and everybody have been talking about, we have some new publications. They are online publications. Let me see if I can share my screen here. The first of which I hope you have all already had an opportunity to see. That is our new Promise Quarterly. Has everyone hopefully had a chance to look at this? We've sent it out a couple of times. This is our new quarterly publication. Yes, for the foreseeable future, it is taking the place of the Promise magazine. It is an online publication, the point of which is actually to be a more timely publication. It's going to come out every November, February, May, and August, I believe. I think I got that time. So quarterly. And it will report on exactly what's been happening in the council during that quarter and what's about to be right on the horizon. So this is going to show everybody. I'm very excited about this actually, and I'm trying to flip the page and I can't get to this arrow. It's going to show everybody exactly what's been going on, what's happening immediately. So I'm excited about this publication. I hope everyone has had a chance to look at it. Looking forward to the next one. These are downloadable. They are printable. But once again, they're basically like mini magazines. You'll see right here. This is the very quick overview of our camp offerings for the upcoming year. Now, very soon, we will be launching a more in-depth. This is not final. We're still working on this. But we have a more in-depth little camp brochure. Is everybody seeing this? Are we seeing the camp here?
Yes, we see it.
Okay. Sometimes I don't know if it's following me or not. But this will be online as well. This will be emailed out. It's got all of the information, the longer descriptions of all of the particular sessions that we're offering this year. Camp registration opens on Monday, February the 3rd. So get excited about that. Y'all will be seeing this in your inbox soon. And as Myra mentioned a moment ago, we also have a new page on our website, which is it is a permanent link now in every issue of Program Possibilities. This is our Community Partner Programs webpage, and this links out to all kinds of opportunities that our program partners say, like the Botanic Gardens or the Home Depot, the Metal Museum, all of like local corporations and partners that offer programming that troops can do independently of the council. It's just like a clearinghouse website. It is organized by region, so you can click through here and find everything that's open to you. And we are continually adding to this. This is a permanent link on our website. We're hoping that this will grow. And these will tell you all about different opportunities that your troops and service units can go and partake of independently. Lots of badge programs. So we're really excited about this. This is a permanent link now in every issue of Program Possibilities. I'm going to stop sharing the screen. Maybe stop sharing the screen. Yes. And so just to reiterate, as far as our standing publications, Program Possibilities comes out every other Wednesday. There will be another issue of that come out next Wednesday before we go on the holidays, and then the following one will be on January the 8th. So we do try to follow that schedule pretty religiously. It's every other Wednesday. What that publication does is it shows every single program opportunity that the council has available that's open for registration. And even if it'll tell you if registration is ended. Anything that's currently on our website, activities, it's all linked every 2 weeks for you there in program possibilities to hopefully give you the most up-to-date overview of everything that's available for you and your groups to partake of in the council. We have Heartstrings, which is the e-newsletter that goes out to all of you, and that is that should come to your inbox every first of the month. December, January is a joint issue, so you should have received that issue on December the 1st. You'll receive another one on February the 1st. If for some reason you are not receiving that publication, send me an email at Allison with 1L.Coons at girlscoutshs.org, and I will research that issue for you. But everyone on this call should be receiving Heartstrings. So I think that's all I got.
Thank you, Allison. Are there any other questions from anybody? Okay.
There was a question in the chat asking about while Allison was talking. She was asking, was it live now, the publication?
The Promise Quarterly?
She said, I don't see it. I don't know what the it is.
She typed it as Allison was talking.
The Promise Quarterly is live. The camp brochure is not.
No, she said she was talking about the community partners page.
Oh, yes.
It's live.
Yes, it has been for about a month.
How do
She
you
said she couldn't
navigate
see it.
to it from
I'm sorry, what?
How do you navigate to it? There's
It's
not a
under the activities section.
Okay. Okay, got it. Thanks.
Okay. Thanks.
Any other questions?
Kiwani.
I heard somebody say Kiwani in the background, but I don't know what that means.
The question actually is the cabins at Fisherville. But did y'all say a timeline when you were going to have the architectural drawings for Fisherville, or is that just what's coming next?
That's what's on the board for next steps, Susie.
Thanks.
Okay. Lori, did you want to close this out? If there's not anything else, I don't see anything else in the chat.
Yeah, you actually caught me snacking. I'm sorry. I just want to tell everybody, thank y'all for your time. You can see that the council is very hard at work, and like Venus said, we are listening, and we're all doing our best to serve the girls. And so we appreciate each and every one of y'all and your time tonight and your time through all the days that you serve the girls. It is greatly appreciated. And if you need anything from me, feel free to reach out. I am available, and happily will talk to you or reach out, I'm sure, to any of the folks on this call. And just like I said, much appreciated, and we'll see you next time.
Yes. Thank you, everyone, for your time. I just have to echo what Lori just said. We're getting there slowly but surely, step by step. So I just stay positive and stay with us, keep communicating with us, and we're gonna do our best to serve you and to serve our girls and our volunteers. And that's what's always just very important to us. But keep up the good work.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.